I'm Karthik. I'm speaking on behalf of Indian Textile Journal. With us right now, we have Mr. Hari Shankar of Lakshmi Card Clothing, which is one of the leading players in the textile spinning machinery market, spinning accessories machinery. So, to start with, everyone knows what Lakshmi Card Clothing, what is the forte of Lakshmi Card Clothing. But can you take us to the journey of LCC over the years?
First of all, good morning, and thank you very much, Karthik, for having me on this morning for this interview or webinar or whatever. It's my pleasure to be here today, and in light of what we're all going through as part of our new normal, this COVID time. I think we're all on webinars and online interviews and everything. So I'm glad to be part of this today. And once again, thank you for having me on. So to take you through our journey, it's been over 60 years where we've been part of the card clothing industry. And for over 60 years, we have, through constant innovation and consistency and commitment, along with our R&D team, we have created new ways to address challenges, create cutting-edge solutions to refine our existing products, our services and methods to achieve accuracy, to deliver better results, and most importantly, to redefine the very fundamentals of card clothing. But of course, it's been 60 years, and part of it is where through history, we have to use history to learn from and to adapt ourselves to our current state of affairs, so that we don't repeat the same mistakes going forward. I think that's all part of our learning experience that we've taken into context along the way.
Right, sir. So, speaking about card clothing, so what makes your product unique from that of those of the competitors?
As I said, through the 60 years being in this field, we specialize in the entire card room technology, which is the heart of spinning, as you'll know. I mean, what makes our product unique is where we work hand in hand along with our customer base. We tailor our products according to the requirements of the market, to constantly innovate, to see what new trends are ongoing in the field, what the market requirement calls for, and then we come out with specialized products along the way to cater to that. So it's not a one stop. We are a one-stop solution for all card room requirements, and I think that's part of our strength, where the mills in the spinning industry really can count on us to cater to all their requirements.
Right, sir. So, if you ask about percentage wise, what would be the market share of card clothing in India and worldwide?
I think in India, you mean LCC's market share?
Yes.
Okay. In India's market share, I mean, we've always been the leading card clothing player in India. In fact, all of our competitors, whether it's especially the overseas European brands that have come into the market over the last 15-20 years, they've always looked at us as the bar, and all of their marketing strategies are based off of what we've done. So I would put our market share somewhere it's constantly changing all the time. So it's somewhere between 40 and 55% of the domestic market.
Okay.
Globally, we are present in some markets like Indonesia, Bangladesh, where we have quite a fair bit of presence. A little bit in some of the African countries, in markets in South America like Peru, Mexico. But there are some other markets where we're not present at the moment, but we have plans to get into in due course.
So what about the European market?
The European spinning market has reduced quite a bit substantially over the course of the last 20-30 years. I think the significant spinning market is more our way in Asia. So I don't really think there's much of a spinning market left in Europe at the moment. There is quite a bit in North America and in the US, but so far we've not really we haven't really had a presence there.
Okay. So as you know, due to COVID, most of the performance of the companies have been impacted very badly. So how was the year so far for LCC? I'm talking about the period between April to present.
Okay, so I actually think just like every other business, the initial months were a little bit slow because the first time ever due to the pandemic, we've had a twin shock where we've had a production shutdown due to all the lockdown restrictions. I think we locked down in March, somewhere around mid-March, and we didn't open again until mid-May or thereabouts. So 6 weeks we had full production shutdown. We also saw, it's not just LCC, but the entire world also saw supply chain losses, where the entire global supply chain was cut off also due to all the logistical issues in the world. So this was a twin shock that where the entire economy was saw a slowdown. But fortunately, I think, and surprisingly, for the last few months, we've seen a fairly quick revival. So for LCC, I think from maybe in July onwards, we've seen a stable growth and demand from the spinning mills. In fact, the whole spinning industry has seen a revival, and at the moment we are quite bullish for the rest of the year, all the way from now until March.
So you can easily say that spinning industry is coming back on track right now.
Yes, definitely. Simply because I think there's a lot of demand from the youth industry to the spinning mills, right? Because as we know, the home textiles markets have been doing very well, and also we've seen a demand for some knitted goods. So both these areas are doing very well, and there's also a lot of online demand for these, home textiles or knitted goods, whatever. So I think in due course, spinning industry also picked up, and almost overnight. I mean, when we locked down, I wasn't very confident that things would pick up as soon as it actually did.
Right. So what are the current trends are you witnessing in the card clothing market?
Current trends, I think, all the spinning mills that have now opened back after lockdown. We've seen slowly all the mills back to full production. I think they just look for quality performance, on-time delivery, and I'm proud to say that LCC over the past 10 years or so we've played a very key role in enhancing the competitiveness of the spinning mills in India, because over a period we've helped to reduce the cost of card clothing per kilogram of sliver by more than 15%. So really,
Right.
quality and consistency and life of card clothing is what the mills always have expected, and today more than ever is the requirement.
Right. So, as you know, most of the companies are focusing on digitalization and Industry 4.0 technologies. How do you see the future of this in Asia and particularly in India?
So I think with both automation and digitization, I think the main requirements for these is simply that it helps to increase the overall productivity. It also helps in labor saving, and also reduces your requirement of skilled labor, because over time when these costs escalate, that's when you become very uncompetitive. And also with digitization, I think it also helps you to get instant reliable data. It also helps for to run a very smart factory, to manage things remotely, and also to enable effective material tracking. I mean, all of these are required today more than ever before in this uh, 2020 period with COVID, and where everybody's online and everything is moving towards a new platform. I think not just Asia, but I think world over, I think these areas are very, very important.
Right. So, any plans of diversifying into any other related products?
Related products, no. I think I think the COVID period really has shown that you really need to look at things from a microscope, and to specialize in your areas, and to ensure that your customer base gets everything down to the small details. And card clothing as such is a very specialized field, which is a continuous process of innovation, and it really requires our full-time dedicated input of all our resources. So really, we would really need to focus going forward on this specialized area, which is cardroom technology. We have, however, diversified in other areas outside of textiles. For example, we have our RF radio frequency drying machine, which we've used in the textile processing industry, which we began about 20 years before. But we've taken it one step further, because we found a lot of requirement in the food processing space using RF technology. So we find that that's a big up and coming field, and we see that as another area to venture into in the future, where there's a lot of potential and scope.
Okay. So, what has been the impact of COVID on the textile machinery industry, and what kind of challenges are you anticipating post-COVID?
See, post-COVID, I think for the textile machinery industry, or the entire textile, I think things were slow to begin coming back to normal. But to be honest with you, like I was just talking about a few minutes ago, I think probably since the end of July, the entire thing started picking up again, where the last 2 months, I would say, are surprisingly even better than it was pre-COVID. So I think all of this has to do with the overall demand coming from home textiles, and demand for knitting goods. You see, like some segments of knitting in Tirupur, etc., they're all doing very well. The orders are up. The orders are up for home textiles, where there's a lot of demand for online shopping. So all of this has helped the textile, the spinning industry also look up, and as a result, we're seeing a rise in demand for products. We have a vision up to March or April. I think things are knock on wood promising. Beyond which, we hope things continue to stay on track, because as you know, there's always been a very cyclical market where you go through phases of highs and then you go through phases of lows. So I'm just hoping we can ride a higher wave at this point in time.
Right. So, as you know, most of the exhibitions are cancelled due to COVID. So, what are the new strategies your company is exploring to market your products?
Yeah, so unfortunately with COVID, large exhibitions are unlikely to take place until we come up with a vaccine, which hopefully is not so far away. Simply because we are unable to have large gatherings. The India Meet 2020, which was due in December, which is due 2 weeks from now, has been postponed to 2021.
Next.
But right through this entire time, SEC has always maintained in touch with our customer base. Even when we were in lockdown, we have a large sales and service team, not just LCC, but also our service and sales team of Voltas, our selling agents. We've been in touch with our clients. We've taken them through maintaining their cards effectively through the lockdown. We've been in touch with them, and I think we're still, even though we're all working remotely, I think a lot of our frontliners have still been able to go onto the field and ensure that things are done in a timely manner. So luckily, we still have a strong face-to-face connect with our customer base. But I think we're also doing a lot of webinars, we're doing a lot of Zoom calls, we're doing a lot of other things in the meanwhile, yeah.
So, do you think the government is doing enough for the textile industry? If not, what are your suggestions for the government?
Well, I just think we need we're just hopeful that the government can stay with a consistent policy. I think part of it is, with constant changes, that's when we see the ups and downs. So at the moment, I think the government did come up with some recent schemes for the textile mills, which hopefully will result in investment in capital equipment, and that's going to help, because if you look at the spinning industry, I think India has the second highest installed capacity of spinning machinery, but still most of our capacity is towards regular commodity yarns. I think we still have some ways to go in terms of focusing on other blended yarns, or even some synthetic blends, or even there's a very small capacity in terms of specialized yarns. So I think there's potential there. Maybe over course of time, I think we can move in that direction.
Okay. I'm done with my questions. Anything you need to add? Anything, Aman?
Well, I'm just grateful for this opportunity today, especially in these testing times, I think, where everybody is trying to stay safe and working online and remotely and everything. I think this webinar gives us the opportunity to spread the message across that Lakshmi Card Clothing is here for the long term, and we've always committed ourselves to the well-being of the textile industry of India and strive our best always in the future.
Okay, sir. So thanks a lot for giving your valuable time. It was indeed pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me today.
Yeah, thanks a lot, sir. Have a great day. Yeah.
Thanks, you too.